just to repeat the headline that is so impacting Fox's stock right now and paying a lot of, meaning that a lot of people are going to be sitting up and paying attention. Fox News and Tucker Carlson are parting ways, and this is effective, Alex, Friday. We've already seen the last show.
Yeah, so obviously this was extremely sudden. We don't have any details on where Tucker Carlson was going. This comes off the heels of the $787 million settlement that Fox agreed to with Dominion. And at that time, Fox said there would be no changes to its company or how it's handling things. But it looks like this is definitely a big change. We don't know, though, how and where this wound up coming about. However, It leaves an enormous hole in the middle of Fox broadcasting.
Absolutely, and I suspect their sales team, their advertising teams are going to be scrambling now to figure out exactly what they're going to do. He was central to in so many ways, the ad case that Fox had. How does that change? What is the value of Fox going to look like as a result of this? I think is a really sort of huge imponderable right now as we try and work out what has happened here. And we also don't know which side this has come from. How did this come about? Obviously, as you say, the Dominion settlement was a huge moment for this company. Have they taken the initiative here, or was this a decision that Tucker Carlson has made? Geetha Ranganathan joining us now of Bloomberg Intelligence from our media team to give us an idea of what is happening here. Geetha, just give us an idea of the significance of this for Fox's bottom line.
Oh, this is a very, very big deal. Fox News is a crown jewel, really, of the whole Fox empire. It brings in 75% of the company's profit. It is the most watched cable network in the U.S., has been now for about 10 years running. And a huge part of that, I think, they owe to their anchors, and especially, the popularity of Tucker Carlson. So this is huge. Fox News, of course, is one of the most profitable cable networks in the U.S. right now.
Geetha, how do the advertising contracts work? Like, if I'm an advertiser on Tucker Carlson's show, can I pull it immediately? Like, how often do these contracts come up?
Yeah, you can. So that more and more flexibility is being built into these advertising contracts. So I think that there is a slight amount of a lead time, but obviously all of that advertising definitely is at risk right now with this announcement.
Wow.
In terms of could there be an obvious replacement for Tucker Carlson? Is there somebody that kind of is sitting waiting in the wings here that could step up? How unique is he? How unique is the offering that he has brought?
These are some really big shoes to fill. So remember, Tucker Carlson is one of the most watched anchors. He has brought in roughly about 4 million viewers every night. That is more than anybody else. So definitely, I mean, I'm not really sure who could replace him immediately, but it's going to be it's going to be a pretty difficult thing for Fox News to do right away.
So Geetha, the obvious question is this a firing due to what happened with Dominion, or is Tucker Carlson leaving on his own? And there's no way for either of us to know that. However, based on what we know on the literal money that Tucker Carlson brings in, would you be surprised if this was an active firing? He's obviously one of the most provocative, one of the most controversial commentators, I think, on Fox News, but he's also been one of their, a top attraction. I'm not sure, if it's a firing, but again, remember, yes, he's a very, very important part of the news network, but they do have other talents as well. I mean, if you just kind of think about it, The Five is a show that has been, most watched and very popular. So, again, not really sure.
Yeah, we don't know. I think we just don't know is the really tricky part of all of this. We know very little as to what has happened internally here. But it does obviously change the dynamic going into the general election next year. Geetha, how important is this are these next few months, this next year as we run in towards the 2024 election? How big a hole does he leave at this critical moment? And how important is this critical year?
It is. It is definitely a very big deal because what we've seen typically with Fox News is, a lot of buzz keeps building into an election year, and we see kind of ratings skyrocket, especially when you have a presidential election and one that is as important as the one that we're heading into. So definitely, I mean, it's going to be a big deal. Remember, again, this is a network that throws off about $2.5 billion in EBITDA, again, which builds, again, into an election year, especially with the advertising dollars. So, I mean, Alex, and you brought that up. Advertising becomes really, really critical for them. And then again, with this whole, it is going to be difficult.